Hey, come see me do stand-up in Ontario, California, Las Vegas, and Davenport, Iowa. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Big news. President Joe Biden's son, Hunter, is convicted of all 3 felonies in a federal gun trial. Looks like Hunter's been found guilty of 3 counts of Russian disinformation.
They got to the courts?
Nice try, USSR.
Yeah.
But we now see that you Ruskies have infiltrated every aspect of American mainstream media, except for when you run stories we agree with. Okay. So here's the story. Jurors, but there's more. There's way more to this story. So jurors found Hunter Biden guilty of lying to a federally licensed gun dealer, making a false claim on the application by saying he was not a drug user anymore and illegally having the gun for 11 days. So you can't be owning guns if you're illegally using. So, okay.
Why would I tell you that?
Yeah.
Well, everybody's going to make that claim.
Right? Well, maybe he wasn't a drug user, but then he relapsed after he got the gun.
Yeah.
That's the defense I would have used.
Yeah, I wasn't when I bought it.
No, when I bought it, I was clean, but then I relapsed. And also, my father's the president.
Yeah.
That would be my defense.
I think initially it was a good defense.
How many days do you have to go before a drug user can purchase a gun? How many days sober? That's my question.
Do they even piss that?
Does it include weekends?
It shouldn't. I think that's because that's my right to own a gun.
Can you use the time when you're unconscious as time served?
I couldn't wait for the gun, so I knocked myself out for 11 days.
Hunter Biden, that's right. He's found guilty of the kinds of things rich kids get probation for, even if your father isn't president.
Right. Well, you know, the deal they'd made was if he had pled guilty to this.
So, yes. So that we're going to get to that. So Hunter Biden's conviction came just weeks after Trump was found guilty of 34. This is how the AP reports it. Of 34 felony charges related to a hush money payment to a porn actor in 2016. The cases are in no way the same. Yeah, because Trump's actually not a crime. And Hunter Biden is a private citizen who is not running for office. Hey, thanks for giving me that information. I didn't know. I thought Hunter Biden was...
Wait, no, he's a big-time artist, though. He's a $500,000 painting artist.
So here it is. So Hunter Biden faces up to 25 years in prison when he is sentenced. He's not going to do it. I bet he does zero time.
If you commit a crime with the gun, they're not going to give you prison time.
So the judge didn't set a sentencing date. But get this. Trump, however, has continued to this is from the AP, has continued to falsely claim his verdict was rigged. How does the AP know that? How does the AP know that was false? There's lots of questions around that. The judge was certainly partisan. No. The judge should have been recused. Yeah. The judge's daughter was making money off the case. The judge donated to an anti-Trump...
The trial was rigged. What do you mean the verdict
The whole
rigged?
Thing.
It should never have happened.
The trial should have never happened.
Alvin Bragg, that sack of shit that's paid off by Soros' group, and Soros is just a front man. That's the rigging. The Open Society Foundation rigged it.
Okay, so... Trump's campaign called the verdict nothing more than a distraction from the real crimes of the Biden family.
So Biden
wait. Let me put it this way. So let me read this again. So Trump has continued to falsely claim his verdict was rigged, while Joe Biden has said he would accept the verdict involving his son and would not seek to pardon him.
Oh, that's big of him.
So why do you think that is?
Because he's a good dad.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think Joe Biden and the Bidens are so willing to accept this? Why? Because I don't know about this one, but the last time they had an agreement with the prosecutor that Hunter would plead guilty to these gun crimes, part of that agreement was that he couldn't be prosecuted for anything else that was on that computer.
Stuff that wasn't, anything ever again.
So
in the future,
anything in the future,
which is unprecedented. No one's ever been given that deal.
And so Vivek Ramaswamy says, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Hunter Biden trial was a sham. It's a smokescreen to legitimize the Trump conviction and to deflect attention from the Biden's family's actual likely crimes, selling off our foreign policy to make their family rich. Don't fall for it. So all this stuff that Hunter Biden is involved with that's actually huge crimes. Like, not only, I'm not talking his drug use, which he should be, but I'm talking...
Not the cool part of him.
Not the cool part. I'm talking about the stuff with Ukraine and the selling of influence. Well, here's what Glenn Greenwald has to say.
The real questions about Hunter Biden, criminally speaking, have never been this case, have never been about his attempt to purchase a gun while being a drug addict. The real issues are the corruption that Hunter Biden engaged in places like Ukraine and China. That was what the New York Post was trying to report in 2020 when the entire media united against them to disparage that reporting falsely as the byproduct of Russian disinformation, reporting that big tech then tried to censor. The real question surrounding Hunter Biden's criminality is what it was that he was doing in Ukraine, a country where his father, as vice president, was basically running. Remember, Biden has often boasted, Joe Biden did, about the orders he gave to the Ukrainian government to remove certain prosecutors that he disliked, the threats that he made to the Ukrainians to withhold $1 billion in aid unless they followed his command to remove a prosecutor. I mean, Joe Biden was running Ukraine as kind of an imperial overlord, not at even the highest level of generality, but micromanaging all sorts of things at the same time that Hunter Biden was being paid $50,000 a month by a Ukrainian energy company, Burisma, despite no involvement or experience in that industry, no knowledge of it. And there's all kinds of evidence that Burisma tried and succeeded through Hunter Biden in gaining access to Joe Biden. And on top of that, you have all sorts of very strange deals that Hunter Biden and President Biden's brother were pursuing together in China. And one of the memos that the New York Post found from the laptop that the media falsely said was a fabrication showed that Joe Biden had a potential profit participation in one of those deals. There's all kind of sketchiness and potential criminality on the part of not only Hunter Biden, but other members of his family that in many ways this trial over these relatively trivial charges seem intended to conceal or to distract from. Now,
so that's the real story, and that's not the AP's never going to tell you that this is a sham trial and that the reason why they're doing this is to make it look like they're having an even hand. But what they're really doing is making sure that the establishment doesn't get caught because of dumb drug crackhead Hunter leaving all his crimes on a computer at a computer repair place that implicates the machine, the war machine, which Joe Biden was working for. So that's what this is all about. And no doubt Joe Biden is doing the bidding of. So they don't want that to go away. I mean, they want those crimes to go away, but they don't want Joe Biden's service to the war machine to go away. And so so this is a pretend conviction on the lowest level charge possible to get him on that computer. The lowest level charge possible on that computer. That's what they got him. And that's why Joe Biden is like, I accept this. I accept this. I accept what the legal system did because it's rigged by you and your people. That's why.
Oh, like, why would he not accept, Hunter's in his 50s?
Yeah.
Or like, Hunter's on probation. He can't have it on his permanent record. Why would he not accept it? It's nothing.
So here's someone else who said this. Let's listen.
They charged him with the lowest level thing they could find. Okay, this is about lying on a form to buy a gun that he was addicted to drugs. Clear as day. Everyone knows that. They did not charge him with running an international pay-to-play influence peddling scheme with his father as the product, with his father's awareness of it. They did it with some of the most corrupt corners of the world, the CCP, the corrupt corners of Ukraine. Any corrupt area you point to, the Biden family had some sort of business dealing. They picked the one crime that they could say had nothing to do with Joe, had nothing to do with acting as a foreign agent, and they charged him with that solely to make this kind of plea that now there's things happening on both sides and everything's okay. That's not true whatsoever. This is what they tried to get away with last.
Wait, you remember what he did with the gun?
This is what they tried. He put it in a garbage can.
Yeah, so the thing he did with the gun, that charge, I didn't even think of that until you mentioned it, but he had just like abandoned a gun somewhere, like it was a laptop.
Yes.
And so the charge is like, you lied, said you were on drugs, but I would think having a firearm somewhere like that has its own kind of charge, wouldn't it? If you just left a gun somewhere?
That's right, of course. So he, at the end, says it's exactly what they tried. So last summer, now, I don't know if this includes, but last summer they made a deal, right? The corrupt justice system made a deal with Hunter Biden. You plead guilty to these stupid gun crimes. And part of the deal is we're not allowed to prosecute you. No one in the future is ever allowed to prosecute you for all the real shit you've done that we just pointed out, that he just pointed out.
And the judge
was looking over this and was like, hey, I can't, because the judge has to sign off on this.
Right.
And
the judge had no authority to alter. A judge usually can alter a plea.
So the judge can usually alter.
So he read it and said, wait, I'm not allowed to do this?
I'm not allowed to alter this plea. And they said no. And he said, well, I'm not signing off on this. And that's why he had to go to trial.
Wait, no. Then the prosecutors said, oh, no, we didn't make a deal. Like, they tried to cover up that they made the deal.
Then they tried to cover up that they made the deal.
Hunter's lawyer said, wait, no, you made this deal.
No, you made the deal.
So it's like, it's extra. Like, so the reason went to trial is because, we'll do a trial then, because they went back on their deal.
Yeah, because the judge wouldn't play.
So now, and
the judge wouldn't play ball
about what they tried to do. So that's why the charge is so low, because prosecution's embarrassed. They did make that really unbelievably Epstein-level corrupt deal.
Epstein-level corrupt deal. And of course, if the media doesn't report it that way, my stupid fucking comedy friends are going to think it's exactly what the media says. They still think that MSNBC, CNN, and Fox are real news. They still think New York Times and the Washington Post is actual news. They still think that.
Are they friends with people that work there?
Yes, some of them. Some of them are.
That's why.
They still think that people, but I know people who don't have any friends who they think that what they're seeing is real.
Be with those people in that group. Do you understand? Your friends that are jerk off in entertainment?
People who are legit artists whose art I've purchased.
Yeah, but are they still want to be in the club?
They say things like this. They repeat it.
Yes, because who they hang out with.
They believe it.
Your friends are cows. I don't know what to tell you.
You don't have friends who believe this shit?
All in New York.
Yeah.
In LA, I really don't, and I'm surprised. I told you, New York, I couldn't believe the level is stupid, but it's all the ones that have a job at like NBC or Fox or one of those companies. It's all them.
And so that's the real game. And let's just remember that Joe Biden. This was also the way they convicted Hunter Biden was with the stuff they found on his laptop. Now, if you remember, that whole laptop was supposed to be Russian disinformation. 51 CIA people.
Even though it was leaked and you could see the stuff on it, which was clearly him.
Clearly him. Here, watch this.
50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plan. They have said that this has all the 5 former heads of the CIA, both parties say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage.
This is classic Trump. We have 4 days left, and all of a sudden there's a laptop. There's overwhelming evidence that from the intelligence community that the Russians are engaged.
I still think that the stories from the fall about your son Hunter were Russian disinformation and a smear campaign, like you said.
50 guys said the thing, man.
I know you'd ask it. I have no response. It's another smear campaign.
It's the last-ditch effort in this desperate campaign to smear me and my family. The vast majority of the intelligence people have come out and said there's no basis at all.
Okay, so that's how you know you can't trust the intelligence community. I hope that's finally clear to everyone the next time they hear about one of our enemy countries.
Ever.
What? Oh, the intelligence community said that? I bet it's bullshit. They probably know intelligence. They ain't going to tell it to you, you dumb cow. They're going to tell you the crap they want you to believe. I don't know who I'm talking to.
I don't. and guess what else they didn't charge him with?
Crack?
Any of his crack crimes. And why is that important? Because Joe Biden brags about making crack a lifelong sentence. You want to hear it? Here it is. He was the architect of the 1994 crime bill that sent hundreds of thousands of Americans to prison for doing what Hunter Biden is doing right here in that picture. No, I don't think people should be in prison for drug crimes. Guess who does? His father.
You're lucky if you could find
Joe Biden does.
If you find good old-fashioned crack now and not meth, some bad meth or fentanyl, that's how far the country's gone. He's back in the good old days where you could get crack. Good old natural crack.
They spent $10 billion on federal prisons because of the crime bill. It established crack cocaine laws targeting poor communities, introduced the 3-strike provision, and set mandatory minimum sentences requiring en masse incarceration for many that the Democrats now criticize.
And don't forget, this is at the time when the intelligence community was bringing crack.
That's right.
To all the black neighborhoods. So you see let's call it a collusion theory. So they put all this money in for prisons. Oh, also private prisons, don't forget.
10,
not just
10
federal.
billion, which, by the way, could pay for community college for the entire country. They instead put it into prisons.
The private prison companies, when the boom happened after the intelligence community brought crack in and cheap guns from China into the country, the music, if you don't like, everybody had to like races against black. Oh, I don't like rap. Okay, well, all the rap turned into gangster rap around the same time.
That's right.
And the owners of the private prison own the record companies and sent out a mandate. You're going to be gangster rap now because it drives business into the prison.
That's right.
So now the Democrats don't like it because they made all the money on it they were going to make.
So let me just show you this. So just it gives you an idea of how the level of hypocrisy here. But it's worse than hypocrisy because Joe Biden got hundreds of thousands of people to go to prison for this. Watch this.
If you have a piece of crack cocaine, no bigger than this quarter that I'm holding in my hand, $1/4 of $1, we passed a law through the leadership of Senator Thurmond and myself and others, a law that says you're caught with that, you go to jail for 5 years. You get no probation. You get nothing other than 5 years in jail. Judge doesn't have a choice. Under our forfeiture statutes, the government can take everything you own. Everything from your car to your house, your bank account, not merely what they confiscate in terms of the dollars from the transaction that you've just got caught engaging in. They can take everything. I don't care why they become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society. They are in jail, away from my mother, your husband, our families. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street.
Yeah, so he's in on it. So they're all in on it. I mean, there's your conspiracy right there. Where all the money went, who owns the things. There's a time frame when it happens. It's unbelievable. And people will, no, I think everything I said is perfectly reasonable. I know so. Oh, that's a conspiracy. I believe 100% they brought that cocaine.
And can I just tell you, the guy who broke the story, Gary Webb, who broke the story about the CIA bringing crack into black communities, you know how he died? I'll tell you how he died. He committed suicide. Now, how did he commit suicide? He shot himself in the head twice.
Right. And that does happen sometimes, mostly when you piss off the CIA, but it does happen.
Shot himself in the head twice.
Yeah,
just so you know.
Nothing weird about that. So everybody, I understand.
The guy who broke that story. And so what I'm saying is that lends credence to everything Kurt's saying. Oh, they brought in crack cocaine. They get this guy, Joe Biden, to pass a law that makes Strom Thurmond, who's the to imprison people. So they explode the prison pipe. They get Bill Clinton also to put 100,000 more cops on the street. Yeah. They put $10 billion in the private prisons. At the same time, they get rap changes from being rapper's delight and all about the chicken's all dancing and the food is bad and you don't want to embarrass your friends because the food sucks. Remember that song?
Yeah.
Hip hop, a hippie to the hippity
hippie.
That's the one I remember.
Yeah.
It changes from that to gangster rap. And Ice Cube, just told Bill Maher that's what the whole point of that was.
What?
And Bill Maher's like, what?
And Ice Cube didn't sound crazy. He goes, I've heard him interviewed.
Who would know more about it?
Yeah,
that'd be like us talking about how comedy clubs work. We've worked in them for 30 years. We know how they work.
Yeah.
Just Ice Cube's worked inside the rap prisons for 30 years. He knows how it works.
He said NWA, we had no idea we were going to be famous. We thought what we were doing would never be a mass appeal thing because it was so
radical.
Bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Anti-establishment.
Well, pro-gang. Okay.
Yeah.
But that is an interesting point. Why did it become like that? Because someone wanted it to be.
That's right.
So then they can feel good about what they did. We put the weak elements of so this much $5 worth of crack. So you're a poor person with nothing going for you,
right?
And now I can put you away for 5 years and take everything that you have,
everything that you own. I can take it.
Also, I'm the head drug. I control the good and the evil.
That's right.
The right and left hand path they call it. These are real creeps.
All right, we got. Hey, everyone thinks mortgage rates are extremely high, but that is not entirely true. Mortgage rates are much lower than the average credit card rate of 22%. Think about how much interest you're going to pay on that credit card if you're only paying the minimum payment every month. If you're a homeowner, a cash-out refinance with American Financing can help you pay off that debt and lower your monthly expenses. And the mortgage interest is tax deductible. They are saving homeowners just like you an average $854 a month. They're salary-based. That's key. Salary-based mortgage consultants will show you how much you can save each month with no upfront fees and no obligation. You can even close in as fast as 10 days and possibly delay 2 mortgage payments, giving you greater savings up front. Get the financial relief you need and stop living paycheck to paycheck. Call American Financing today at 888-804-0303. That's 888-804-0303 or visit AmericanFinancing.net/Jimmy. AmericanFinancing.net/Jimmy. Hey, come see me do stand-up on tour in Ontario, California, Davenport, Iowa, Las Vegas, Nevada, Chicago, Illinois, a special video show with stand-up, and Grand Rapids, Michigan. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.